What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's game is going to be between MVP and NesTea. This is a Terran versus Zerg matchup, MVP versus NesTea here on the map Metropolis. And let's go ahead and start the game off, as always, with some player information. Beginning down over here in the 6 o'clock spawn location, our blue Zerg player, NesTea. NesTea took third place at the IGN Pro League Season 4 on April 8th, and then on May 5th took third place again at the Iron Squid event. His opponent over here in the 3 o'clock spawn location is our red Terran player MVP. MVP took first place at the 2012 GSL Season 2 on May 19th, and then on April 19th, looks like 19 is MVP's lucky number, took first place again, and this time at the IEM Season 7 Global Challenge Cologne. And that is some player information to kick off the match. As always, that comes from TeamLiquid.net. Let's get right into things. Overlord Scout now moving directly towards MVP's base, so he'll be aware of his location in just a moment. SCV finishes building that supply depot, and look at this. Moving to build the barracks in a little bit of a hidden position here. Basically, the attempt with this is to try to throw NesTea for a loop. NesTea moves in, scouts the lack of a barracks in the main base, and this many times will cause him to do some additional scouting in search of that barracks, just in case there's a proxy Rax outside of his main or natural that's trying to do some early game marine pressure. This is the kind of thing that NesTea will be forced to scout for. So NesTea moves up, spots the lack of a barracks at the front, now moves into the main for some additional scouting. He's going to scout all around the base, just make sure that he hasn't missed anything. And then when he realizes, okay, so there's nothing here, that means there's got to be something somewhere else. And let's take a look back over here. Look at that drone scout moving off of the line. So NesTea setting himself back early on in economy to look for that barracks. You can see he did scout it finally, that it was hidden right up here and tucked away in that position. But again, as we saw that drone scout pull off the line, that sets NesTea back even just a little bit early on. And that's the kind of thing that MVP was hoping for. And even though he didn't actually physically see that happen, we did. We know it works. And why don't you take that as a tip from the pros there then? It's something that you can do. Set your Zerg opponent behind slightly by hiding that initial barracks. Force them to pull off their line to do some scouting for a potential proxy placement outside of their natural, and again, you can get that little bit of an edge there in economy early on. SCV scouts around the main base and the natural here of NesTea. Now, one thing he did scout was a lack of extractors here. This could mean NesTea off of 2 bases is going to be massing up some queens early on and droning up pretty hard, or it could mean he's going for a third, and it looks like MVP will be scouting for that potential third right now. Moves down, doesn't see it, so pulls back, probably going to be hiding that SCV for some secondary scouting later on. Back over here, take a look at this. MVP coming out now with a command center of his own at the natural expansion. So quick expansion here from MVP, following that up there with a factory, which is going to allow him to transition into some Hellion action and get some map control here early on in the game. Also, of course, you can notice that the barracks is now placed inside of the main as opposed to its initial placement right over here. Couple Marines now scouting out around the third for MVP, looking for potentially a hidden drone or Zerglings. And we have another Marine actually moving up, continuing to scout for that potential hidden drone for some secondary scouting. Back over here for NesTea, working down this dastardly supply depot. And we've got a Zergling now chasing down the SCV. SCV will be moving forward, trying to look for a third here. There is no third yet, though, for NesTea. And SCV manages to pull back. And he's going to be safe, most likely, to make it back home. Just because... Oh, no, move towards the Queen. That's a goner. Was hoping to get some additional scouting, unable to do so. Speaking of scouting, the Zergling scout attempting to check the third. Those Marines deny that pretty quickly. And MVP... being a little greedy here, coming out with a third very early on. This is going to leave him a little bit vulnerable. He's hoping, of course, that with these Hellions, he's able to maintain enough map control to counteract the fact that he's going for a quick third. And I don't know, we'll have to see what NesTea decides to do, if anything, about it. Zergling, again, second one, trying to move in for some scouting. Marines deny that. Hellions try to move up towards a natural. They encounter some queens, are forced back. Looks like they're going to just try to circumvent here. And now moving down to scout the third, and he's going to be able to get this scouting done. So there it is, spots the third there of NesTea. Both players going for a quick third. A little bit more of a risky position here for our red Terran player MVP. But again, with these Hellions, he's hoping that he can stave off any potential aggression from his opponent. And it really doesn't look like, I mean, I'm not seeing much here in the works for NesTea that he could actually, or would actually move out anytime soon. I mean, he doesn't even have metabolic boost coming through. He's coming out with his 1-1 upgrades before that. Take a look for those evolution chambers. They're going to be up here somewhere. Are they natural? There they are, evolution chambers right here, plus a spine crawler. It's going to help hold back any potential Hellion pressure trying to move into the main of the natural. I actually love this wall off here from NesTea. And then later on, he can just break down these rocks for a much more free-flowing, or he could, of course, just lift up that spine crawler and move it. But there you go, some nice defense and delaying that metabolic boost for those very early 1-1 upgrades. A little bit concerned about how he's going to be able to defend this position over here. Is going to want to keep his queens somewhere in front of this ramp to stop the Hellions from moving down and just decimating the worker line down there. And let's take a quick look here at both players' vision, see what they've seen. So you can see he has spotted the third. Take a quick look here at NesTea's vision. He spotted this constructing that was going on over here, but he doesn't know about all the rest of this here. We got Starport coming out, a few more barracks. Looks like he will be going Marine Tank. That's the transition he'll be moving into. That is, of course, the very, very standard unit composition in TVZ for the Terran player. Still got a small force of bio, trying to protect that third. Wait, did he scout that third? No, he hasn't even scouted that yet. Look at that. Again, because of all those, the Marines denying those double Zergling scouts. I was wondering if he'd potentially get an Overlord up there, but that, of course, has not happened. And we still got this Overlord over here. There was one situated over here. I'm assuming that was used for sacrificial scouting, and that's why he saw what we saw him see. That's why he saw what we saw him see. Let's take a look at the production tab. We get those 1-1 upgrades almost finished. Metabolic boost just finishing. Centrifugal hooks coming out for the Banelings. That is, of course, making them a little bit quicker. Also, an infestation pit now coming out here for NesTea. So NesTea macroing up very hard and spreading dem creeps. Look at that. Wow, creep spread. Going crazy with it here. I love to see that. Unfortunately, though, for NesTea, a simple scan from MVP and a small little A move of his force will basically nullify all of that work. But even though that's the case, even though that happens, spreading this creep is still a fantastic idea and something you should be doing as a Zerg player. It's so, so vital. That extra movement speed for your units is just crucial. The scouting that it gives you is also very, very important. There's so many creep tumors. We do have a Viking moving across the map looking for potential Overlord prey. Hasn't found anything yet. I'm guessing the queens are gonna... Oh, there we go. Hellions got caught in the center of the map. Zerglings get a full surround. Banelings move forward as well. Don't end up getting there before the Hellions get taken out. So NesTea now getting map control. With that metabolic boost finished, those 1-1 upgrades, making them that much stronger. And speaking of upgrades, actually MVP has finished 1-1. He's also moving up into 2-2. Stim pack done. Combat shield almost finished. Got one tank situated right here, one on the high ground. Viking spotting that Overlord. That gets taken out. And it looks like NesTea is deciding now is not the time to engage, but he will take out that Marine, of course. So MVP spreading out his forces here, trying to protect all angles from a potential Spieling run by. Don't blame him there. And is he going to start mobilizing his forces right now? Yeah, he's moving out with some bio and a few medevacs. MVP saying, hey, now's the time to strike. Let me move forward. NesTea continuing to mass up his forces and macro like crazy. My gosh, look at that. Pathogen glands just about finished for the infestors. 2-2 upgrades coming through, barrel research and hive tech. We got 6 infestors now in production. MVP just moves forward to go for some creep tumor destruction. Just gonna pick off a few of these here. We got a Viking moving on over in this position. Bio continues to push forward. That gets a full surround by the Zerglings for an easy mop-up. Still have this Bio Force moving on over in this position. No drops yet. Get the scan there of the main base, and just as I say that, here comes some drops. Look at this, though. Oh boy, NesTea's loving it. Oh, I see those medevacs. Look at all my creep spread. Just as he's placing down a hatchery over here, we got a drop now moving in. That should force that cancel pretty much immediately, unless he gets enough of his lings up in time. Yes, he does. Able to keep on building that hatch, forces the lift off there for MVP. So MVP was hoping, he was actually, I'm assuming, hoping to drop over here or back here. But then, as soon as he moves over in this position, he's like, holy heck, creep tumors. Okay, NesTea sees me, so I'm going to have to think of another plan here. Medevac's just going to be circling back now. This is such a huge map. Definitely a lot to keep an eye on in terms of what's going on. Especially as we start to move into the later stages of the game. Medevac's now moving back in. Here comes the drop. Trying it the second time. We got a few Banelings and Speedlings over here. Banelings splitting up, popping on the Marines. Oh, MVP was not paying attention. He was looking at something else. Might have been this drop over here that's moving out, but he just got his forces decimated there. So we got that second drop now moving in. 3-3 upgrades coming out. He's continuing the production of Marines. Also got a few tanks splashed in there as well. Stimming up these Marines, moving into the main. Gonna do some massive damage. Spawning pool. Dunzo. Yeah, I said it. Baneling Nest is the next planned target, but here come the Speedlings and Banelings to force that back. That was an effective drop, though. That spawning pool taken out very quickly by those stimmed up Marines. Now we do have a transition into Ultralisk planned here for NesTea, coming out with the armor upgrade for them as well. Right there, the plating. Then we've got those 3-3 upgrades coming out. Also, was that 2 spires? Yes, it was 2 spires. So one of them will be a greater spire. The other one will start getting some upgrade for the air units. Any additional drops yet? No, we still got this one over here. This is the spawning pool decimating force that will be moving back in. Marines also heading across the map with a couple of medevacs. And you can see MVP is at supply cap right now. And also transitioning into some Raven action. I'm be excited to see that. Here comes a drop back in the main. First targeting these spines. We got some bio moving over here. That gets dealt with very quickly there by NesTea. However, he's still having to contend with these Marines. As soon as these lings, enough lings move up, it's going to force MVP to lift off. He just powers his way through those ones. And ooh, lifts up a little bit late. Again, his attention must have been diverted. He's got a drop coming over here. Another pair of medevacs over here as well. This entire ensemble has been taken out, but he's still got more action planned. A drop moving over here. And NesTea, you can see looking at his vision, he hasn't countered at all. He's doing no response whatsoever. Another drop over here. Tearing through the economy of NesTea. Let's take a look at the workers killed. 25 workers killed so far this game here for MVP. And MVP doing a good job of spreading NesTea thin, hitting from multiple positions. Takes out this expansion, continues to kill workers, now with 30 workers killed. This medevac manages to sneak away here. NesTea, I don't know what exactly he was doing at that point, but another scan over there, spots the tech of the Ultralisk cavern. These Marines getting dealt with there. Oh, just tear through those infested Terrans. It's a riot. This better be good. 4 more Marines getting dropped over here. Right at the third. Just taking all of his workers off the line immediately. And then pulling back there with the Zerglings. And some more drops coming out. MVP all over the place here, being super active. So we still got these Marines over here, which are doing some damage. Take out that extractor. Now, 2 medevacs filled with Marines, drop in the main, and just continue to do some damage here. And NesTea has just been busy defending himself all game. He hasn't even had the opportunity to push out. We haven't seen any Speedling counterattacks or anything like that. He's been so focused on defending against MVP's just relentless assault here that he has not moved out to do any damage himself at all. Look at this. Again, take a look at NesTea's vision. He knows that this is here, but he still has no idea about this and this. He hasn't moved and pushed on anything. I mean, MVP's got a stellar defense here. Holy heck, look at this. Planetary fortress wall backed up by siege tanks. MVP making it incredibly difficult for any Zergling run-bys to take place. And actually right now, MVP is going to be throwing away a ton of his SCVs, freeing up some supply. He's sitting on so many resources since he is at supply cap. He's going to throw these away to give himself some more Marines, basically, is what he's doing here. That's the game plan. Now, we do have a bunch of Brewlords in play. In response, Ravens, Vikings. That's going to be what he uses to deal with that. Now he does, of course, for these Ravens, he has researched that Seeker missile, so any clumped up Brewlords will take massive damage. Any clumped up anything, really, but what an impressive display so far this game here from MVP. MVP, he's not going to let up.
Upgrade.
Even though this medevac has a total of 6 health left, he is not letting up. He is going for gold here. Moving back up into this expansion with another drop. We do have Marines now moving across the map as well. This very slow force of Brewlords and Infestors are going to have a little bit of a difficult time dealing with those drops. In fact, we take a look at the units here. There are no Zerglings in play right now. It's just Brewlord, Infestor, Corruptor. Now, we've got a few Zerglings just about to finish, but with no Zerglings in play, except for the few that are coming out, it's going to be so hard to deal with these drops. Corruptor, please target the one with 6 HP first. There you go. Is able to deal with this, though, with a fungal growth action. More CVs getting thrown away here by MVP. Again, freeing up supply for actual offensive units as he's continuing to produce more Ravens and Vikings. Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. Let's take a look at the resources lost, which are something that I haven't taken a look at so far this game. You can actually see that NesTea isn't that much further behind MVP in terms of the resources lost. The big thing is that he has taken a big economic hit, but oh, there was a, okay, I was just gonna say, I was like, wait, ton of worker kills for NesTea, how did that happen? It's not because he did anything offensive, it's because MVP threw all those SCVs away. I was a little bit perplexed for a moment, but not so much anymore. NesTea getting harassed now over here by a small group of Marines because, again, he's got such a slow force. He's not going to really be able to easily deal with that, so he just pulls his drones off the line and takes the loss. And finally starts to make his push here. Brewlords, Corruptors, and Infestors. So many Corruptors. Wow, that is a lot of Corruptors. But with all of the Ravens, we'll be seeing some hefty point defense drone action. And here it comes. Hefty amount of Vikings moving in. So many Vikings, so many Ravens. Seeker missiles galore. Boom! Headshot. Wow! NesTea calls the GG, and MVP with a heavy Viking Raven force decimates the Brewlord Corruptor count and makes for the quick GG. What a game here between these two. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that does it here in this game between NesTea and MVP. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of fun and very impressive display here from MVP, with his ending battle being hilarious. Ouch. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned in the future for more StarCraft 2 and other great gaming content here on the channel. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.